Welcome to Family Gamer TV. I'm with Ken Levine, director of Irrational Games, and obviously we're here to talk about Bioshock Infinite. This is very much, it seems, another Bioshock game. Was there ever a moment in the development when maybe it wasn't necessarily going to be another Bioshock and a separate thread? Or
No. I mean, it's once you get your hands on it right away, it feels like a Bioshock game from the first moment. There are things visually in the space that sort of remind you it's a Bioshock game. And I'm not going to I don't want to go into depth about it, but for gamers who love Bioshock, they're going to feel, I think, very gratified by it as a Bioshock experience. Sorry, I'm being a little vague, but I don't want to spoil things for anybody.
But in terms of when you'd finished Bioshock 1 and were thinking about what to do next, was it a necessity to go on and do another Bioshock?
No, we didn't. We had this problem because we thought part of what made Bioshock 1 interesting to people was the fact that the world was so fresh and so exciting and new.
This way. Come on, Daddy.
And that's what I was saying before about Columbia. It's part of the joy of the game is exploring the city. But you had explored Rapture, in the first game, and we didn't have a vision for how to do. Our studio didn't have a vision for how to do that again, and we didn't actually do. The second game took place in Rapture. We didn't actually do that game.
Was there a reason that you didn't take that on yourself?
Yeah, because we didn't have a vision for how to capture that same sense of wonder, the second time in Rapture, and that's not saying we never could. I'm just saying at that time we didn't have one. So we sort of said, well, what do we do? And we played with a different game for about 6 months. We played with a different prototype for about 6 months. It just wasn't working well for us. We just weren't excited about it, and so then we said, well, we sort of stepped back to first principles. Says, what is a Bioshock game? Is it Rapture? Is it the sort of, weapon and vigor combination I talked about before? Is it world exploration? Is it the sort of, the game that takes place in another time period that has these fantastical elements to them? And we sort of realized it wasn't just Rapture. It was a lot of the other things. And so we just started kicking around ideas. And, the first thing we talked about was a time period. We got really excited about that. And then we started thinking about the Flying City and got excited about that, and we just kept rolling from there.
Mm-hmm. Something that people have maybe criticised about the first Bioshock game was, after all that sort of freedom of choice, the ending maybe didn't capitalise on that. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about the ending of Bioshock Infinite in comparison?
I think that something we learned, I think we didn't quite even know what we had in Andrew Ryan in the first game, in that character, and when he sort of disappeared from the game about 2/3 of the way through, the game really felt like it was missing something. And I think we took a lesson away from that, don't, and this is, it was sort of a classic writer's, or I don't even know if it's that classic, it was a writing mistake on my part, I sort of wrapped up the story before the story was over, and in this game we've made a real effort I think people will be holding on to the very end, and to the very last moment of the game, I think, is the story is being told.
And so in terms of what happens now, does the studio carry on and start thinking about another game, or?
Well, currently we just started working on some DLC for the game, which will be available, sometime down the road. And then we have to figure out what's next. Mm-hmm.
That's what we've got time for this week on Family Gamer TV, but we'll be back with more soon.